Hello everyone, it's Neil Patel and today is a new day and we're going to be covering a new training course called Growth Hacking Unlocked, where I teach you everything you need to know about growth hacking. You're going to be learning from me as well as other founders who have created successful companies like Microsoft. We're going to go over what companies like Microsoft did, what worked well for them, what didn't, and how you can take all these lessons from all these companies as well as all the things we've learned at my ad agency, Patel Digital, and implement them within your business. Before we get started, a little bit about me. I've worked with a lot of large corporations like Microsoft, Amazon, NBC, Airbnb, Facebook. The list goes on and on. I have an ad agency called Patel Digital. I was a top 100 entrepreneur under the age of 30 by President Obama. I've helped millions of small and medium businesses, mainly with my content and tools. I've also helped thousands of businesses that are small and medium as well through my ad agency, Patel Digital. I'm not showing you all of this to brag. I don't think I know everything. I don't think I'm the smartest person out there. I know I'm not the smartest person out there. I don't think I know everything in marketing. I still have a lot to learn. But the point I'm trying to make by showing you this and talking about some of the companies I've worked with is more so that I wouldn't have worked with these companies if the tactics that I've used didn't work. And because they work and because they're effective, I've continually been able to build up my ad agency, Patel Digital. So when I break down growth hacking to you, just make sure you pay attention because the tactics will work and they will help you grow faster. The big thing that I've learned over the years is if you're not learning from other founders, you're missing out big time. It's not about learning from your mistakes. That's great and you should do that. But what separates the amazing entrepreneurs and the amazing marketers for the ones who are just mediocre is the amazing ones are learning from other people's mistakes, other people's journeys, so that way they can make better informed decisions. One of the entrepreneurs that I love to death is Bill Gates. You guys all know Bill Gates. He's super rich. And you know mainly for Microsoft. And back in the day, Microsoft ended up going public in the early days during the dot-com boom. They were massive. And some of these companies like Microsoft were worth more money than the oil companies, which back then were shocking. Now it's not. Companies like Microsoft are worth, well over $1 trillion, and it's normal. And they grew through very unique strategies that a lot of traditional companies didn't use. These days, they have a ton of different business units from Windows to Office, Skype, Xbox, Azure, Outlook, Office 365. Google modeled after Microsoft, and they wanted to build an OS system specifically for mobile devices, and they crushed it. They even have one for desktop, which is their Chromebooks. Then later, Facebook modeled after Google, and what's funny is from Snapchat to WhatsApp, a lot of these companies are modeled after Facebook. Funny enough, Facebook also owns WhatsApp and Instagram. So let's go over a rough timeline. Microsoft, it was started when Bill Gates went to Harvard University, dropped out in 1974. He created Microsoft with Paul Allen, who they've been good friends since they were kids. In 1976, when he formed a contract with MITS to develop a basic operating system for their new microcomputers, that's when things really started to take off. Now, notes from the idea man himself. Shortly before Labor Day, Bill checked into a hotel with 3 legal pads and 10 pencils. 5 days later, he came out with thousands of bytes of assembly language and code. He typed it into a terminal, handed the legal pads and said, "Okay, you're going to have to finish debugging it. I've got to go." Then he was off to Harvard. As the company grew and executive duties multiplied, Bill would then get fewer opportunities for such high wire creativity. In a way, that was too bad, and he had a rare gift for programming. Then he would focus at one task at a time with total discipline. You could see it when he programmed. He was one of those guys that was just super laser focused, and that's how he really had that big breakthrough with IBM. When you start looking in the 1980s, IBM approached them for a new basic operating system for its new computers. IBM was 6% of the S&P at the time. That made Microsoft a really rich company. The Windows release in 1990, Microsoft released the first version of Windows. Alongside with Apple, this was the first graphical user interface. It soon became a bestseller and was able to capture most of the operating system market. When you think about the history of Microsoft, all of Bill's blood, sweat, tears, even his ego, it all went into Microsoft. And then later, after tirelessly working for a quarter of a century to make Microsoft a great company, creating one of the biggest software companies in the world that pretty much everyone had within their home. He was super successful. Hence, for one of the longest periods of time, he was one of the richest people in the world. So let's go over some business lessons, right? The company's initial public offering in 1986, and from there, it continually rose in price, and eventually they had to do stock splits to get the stock to a reasonable price so more people could afford it. It created three billionaires: Steve Ballmer, Paul Allen, and Bill Gates, of course. And it also created an estimated 12,000 millionaires among the employees. Most of Silicon Valley companies out there are based on a lot of the concepts of Microsoft. The big takeaway: in the tech field, there's tremendous pressure. Even when you're doing really well, you must run incredibly hard just to hold your competitive position. As Bill told Tom on an NBC special in 1995, if you fall behind technically, no matter how much your past success has been, it's no guarantee that you can keep doing well in the future. And since then, their stock has continually grown. If Bill Gates never sold his shares, he would be worth over $450 billion. That's a lot of money. Heck, I would even take a billion or a half a billion. But just in retrospect, he has more money than some countries even out there. And more than half of his fortune is held in assets outside of holding Microsoft shares. And his investments is in a holding company called Cascade Investments. One thing that I love about Bill Gates is this quote: "Take away our 20 best employees, and I tell you that Microsoft would become an unimportant company." In other words, he's saying the people is what really built Microsoft. Now, I have some action items for you. If you go to neilpatel.com/training, click on Growth Hacking Unlocked, you'll find some worksheets in there. I want you to download the course itinerary and the growth hacking worksheet. By the end of the course, you'll know how to growth hack your business and drive revenue. Keep in mind, this is a 2-week course. There's 5 more lessons. We just covered the first one, so you have 5 more, 6 in total. And you can find all the documents at neilpatel.com/training. And then from there, click on Growth Hacking Unlocked. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, like it, share it. In the next few lessons, we're going to really dive deep into growth hacking, and we're going to go into not just strategy, but also actual tactics. And if you just want help and want my ad agency to do everything for you, check out NP Digital, which is short for Neil Patel Digital. Thank you very much.